I don't know. We're live, so we'll figure it out live. There it is, episode 87 of the Odd G's podcast. Harry had just said to me when I hit the button, "Where do you want to start?" I go,
Yeah,
"Now."
and you never have an answer.
No.
You know, that's what I mean. We take weeks off at a time on this podcast and get ripped for it. We get admonished, like I said 2 weeks ago on social media. It's happening again. Like, where's your podcast? You guys quit? You on vacation again? All this kind of stuff. And then we come and start to do it, and you start out. I don't get a text saying, "Hey, I want to get into this." Start out with something. I mean, hit me.
I wait for you to come with a full clip, Harry.
What do you? Yeah, what if I have no clip?
I'm shooting blanks over here.
Yeah,
you need to come with a full clip and another one on the belt.
Thank goodness I've been shooting blanks since I was 18.
Yeah, which is why you're saving some dough.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Well, we're back today for who knows what.
Yeah.
I think there's actually some pretty interesting things to talk about today.
Well, there are, but a lot of it pisses me off because
me too. And I don't even know what exactly you're referring to, but there's some things that are pissing me off lately as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the whole thing about the slow time in sports. See, this is what happens when football ends.
Yep.
You get stuck with this bullshit. Where a guy, an out of market guy, throws something out there and he doesn't give any real details, but it's just this sort of this trolling comment on his show. And then it becomes a thing here locally. And everybody gets all up in arms of blaming the media for trying to destroy the Eagles. And it just takes on a life of its own. And I hate this shit. And then the other thing is, everything is about money in sports anymore. And it has been for a long time. I'm not breaking any news here, but it's finally gotten to a point like a tipping point with me. Okay. And I want to talk about that today.
Okay.
At some point. Okay.
Well, kind of where you started, what you mentioned there, I don't think there could be any bigger of a total douchebag bullshit move then I know why this team fell apart, but I'm not saying it.
Right.
That whole notion, like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And
you know Craig too.
Oh, sure I do. And I actually like Craig.
Yeah, okay? I do too, but that's such a bullshit move.
I actually like Craig a lot. And I respect him for, what he's done in the business. Of course, he has had his issues and, he's paid a price for that. And now he's back. And I'm glad that he's gotten a second chance and can go on. But this was a total bullshit move. Like, if you're gonna say, I know why the Eagles fell apart, and it involves a big name player that will no longer be on the team next year as a result of this, but I can't tell you who it is and what it was.
Yeah,
like that's bullshit.
Okay? Your job is to either share with your audience or not share with your audience. You can't say and not tell.
Right. And he's not a reporter. Bullshit. He's not a reporter. Okay. He's in the quasi media, as I like to call it, because that's how I referred to myself. I'm not really in the media. I reserve the media for guys who actually do journalism, and report stuff and are in the locker rooms on a daily basis, covering teams and all that kind of thing. That's not me. Okay. And that's not him either.
No.
Okay.
You're right. That's quasi media.
Yeah, whatever. But and he's a hot take guy, a clickbait kind of whatever derogatory term you want to throw on it. It's him. I mean, that's what he is. He's kind of like a bombastic, shock jockey kind of guy in the sports business and has done very well for himself, through that. But what happens, you can always say this in the off season. Any of these guys around the country can do this to us, whether it's somebody in San Francisco or somebody in New York, whatever. And they know it's going to catch fire because that's who we are.
Colin Cowherd's made a career out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't even know, I guess he is on in Philadelphia on The Gambler. They air his show.
Yeah, he is now. Yeah.
Okay. But he, he's not a big name here, but he always trolls Philadelphia.
Yeah, because he knows that Philadelphia will react.
It works for him. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And and then I find it just so funny about how then the local guys get, thrown into it too, about how, they're trying to break up the team. They love when the team lose. Like Jeff McClain couldn't care less if the team wins 12 games a year or loses 12 games a year. I guarantee you. Okay, he's there to report either way, and that's his job. And he'll say stuff that might involve something about a problem with the coaching staff or whatever, and the fans get all up in arms at him.
They shoot the messenger.
Yes, exactly. like he's supposed to avoid it if he finds something out. Like, oh well, that would make the Eagles look bad. I better not say anything.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? Like what do you think? What do you think his
He's
job
not a PR guy for the team,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I'm kind of following this thing and not really giving a shit. And I saw Johnny Marks commenting on it because, Craig's report comes out and he gets into it with Eskin, a genius. Eskin's tweet.
I saw it.
Genius. I saw you backed off. Like Howard to the rescue.
Right.
And Adam Schefter went on the Fanatic. Did anybody hear it? And he said that everything Craig said was bullshit. And John Marks was right. He makes the point. He says, Schefter sees the report from Carton, calls the Eagles or texts the Eagles, and they say, no, it's total bullshit. And then he reports it as bullshit.
Right.
And people go, see, Schefter knows, he's plugged in.
Right.
Schefter has been a fucking lackey for these teams for years.
Well, of course.
He and Rappaport, you know why they get the draft pick before everybody else?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they don't get real reporting. They get what the team tells
them.
Or
the agent wants them
first.
to know.
Yes.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
It was just like when I was wrong, Harry,
yeah,
about reporting on Carson Wentz's back.
Right.
Adam Schefter comes out and goes, that's not true. A recent scan showed there was no issue.
Yeah, okay.
And then as my report came out, hours later was a recent scan showed a fracture. Well, which one was it, Adam? You called me a fucking idiot 2 hours ago when I broke it.
Yeah.
But now you realize that when you're not listening to the Eagles, there is a fucking fracture there. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
So, first of all, take what you read from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. It's all bullshit. They're being told what to say, and they're on the take. You know what I mean? Everybody's on the take, Harry.
Right, except me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's my take?
Yeah, I'd like to take some.
Is there
a line for the take?
All I do is see people on the, getting the take. I get no take.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the same Adam Schefter who tweeted yesterday, I believe it was. It was either yesterday or the day before. I saw this and laughed. It was about the punter from Buffalo, the former Bills punter being signed by Kansas City. And I just want to make light of the way he worded this tweet, if I could find it here again. A big development in KC.
Oh,
that's how the tweet starts. Right? Okay. Chiefs are signing former Bills punter Matt Araiza per source. Now, this punter was the guy who was released by Buffalo. Well, apparently it's kind of a big story, a long story. No charges were ever brought, I believe, to this guy. The case, I think, was dropped, and the victim, quote unquote victim, eliminated him from the whole discussion. He admits to having sex with the girl, but says it was consensual and he didn't know she was underage. But nothing ever came about it as far as punishment for him, except he lost his gig with the Bills.
Wasn't he a first-round pick, too?
He was a draft pick. I know that. But a big development in KC. They signed a punter. First of all, when you sign a punter, is that really a big development?
No. A big development would have been if they traded Josh Allen for Patrick Mahomes. That's a big development.
Exactly right.
What you're talking about is a small condominium community.
Yes, exactly.
This is not a big development.
Right. So, when all this stuff surfaced with Carton's alleged report, you're immediately thinking as an Eagles fan or somebody who follows the Eagles closely, well, it's either A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts. It has something to do with one of those guys, maybe both of them, because they were both, friends since, they were younger guys, growing up in the South and whatnot. And maybe there's a rift. There appears to have been a rift with them where they don't look buddy anymore on the sidelines. And, Hurts is aloof and he's always sitting by himself with this weird look on his face. And he's like an emotionless, he's like a ghost in a weird way on the sideline. You don't even know if he's alive.
Like he had a lobotomy or
It's
something.
really weird, man. I got to be honest. But and then it comes out that Fletcher Cox was one of the guys who got pissed off about Jalen Hurts' personality and the way he didn't interact with teammates and he doesn't show emotion and all that. And I get all that. Like I guess I think that would piss me off too, to a certain degree.
Yeah. Show me you got a pulse.
Yeah, exactly.
You're human.
We're all in this trench together, man. Show me that you're as into this as I am.
Give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And well, I guess there was other players that aren't so taken with his personality, and that people have, players have reached out to him to try to get him to be more relatable and care and show that he cares more. And I'm thinking, why do we always get these guys? This is similar to what happened with Wentz.
Yeah.
Where
as soon as they get the money.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if it's the money, but Wentz came in here with this goofy, weird personality, and he didn't sort of relate to a portion of the locker room, and it became a problem. And he ends up, out. Here comes Hurts. Hurts comes in, and he's got a weird personality. Donovan McNabb had a weird personality. Can't we ever get a guy like they have in Buffalo or Kansas City that just looks like a freaking football player, and he wants to go out and I don't know. Like he freaking gives a shit.
Yeah.
Why do we always get these guys?
Yeah, I definitely think Hurts, he does give a shit, but
of course he
may
does,
not
but he just
show
doesn't
it well.
show it. Yeah,
Harry, look, to me, it's like the band that hits it big with a hit first album. They have such a hard time writing the second one.
Yeah,
because you can't complain that you got no money, you got no friends, you got no women.
It's like Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
Jagged Little Pill was a terrific record. Okay. Yep. And then her follow-up, because she was no longer angry. Now she had all this money and adoration and probably 15 boyfriends that were all kissing her ass instead of one that dumped her and, whatever. And exactly. That's exactly right.
There's nobody to prove wrong or bitch about anymore.
Right.
And so the emotion is gone. It's devoid. Right. And it happens with these guys. They hand these quarterbacks so much fucking dough that they got this FU money for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And look, some guys work through it and can work harder even after getting it. Some guys can't. I don't know if Hurts can or can't. I thought it was premature to anoint him the way you did. I thought he had a really good year, but it was still just a year. And I thought there was still deficiencies in his game that could rear their head. Reasons why he was a second round pick and not a first, all of those things. But, and I don't know where it goes. Carson Wentz was a number 2 overall pick. So, and that guy can't even sniff the league anymore. He's
right. And the guy who was drafted ahead of him, which much controversy, is playing his ass off
and way better. Right. In Goff.
Right.
So, and we thought that guy was a donkey at first. They were idiots for taking him over Wentz, and look where it is now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I saw AJ Brown replying to some WI Pay tweets, and one that the afternoon show in with Ike, Jack Fritz, and Spike was kind of making this point in this video that where were you when we were lauding that you're great? Were you saying we were were we overrating you at that point? And this whole thing between the media and the players, the the players always said, "Oh, I don't listen. I don't look at the newspaper." They're all full of shit.
Yeah,
they all do. It's human nature.
I thought that really isn't AJ Brown. That was his account that has been taken over by somebody else. Yeah, and how does that work? How does that happen?
Yeah, I don't even know. But he said whoever that account is now said that they were going to call and address this situation this morning. I don't know if they did or I don't listen, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
I can't listen to this anymore. I've had enough. God, this Eagles, it's oh my God, it's exhausting.
Yeah. But Brian Cunningham puts up here, hard to get up in the morning and run 5 miles when you're sleeping in silk sheets. Evander Holyfield.
Yeah. Ball's on correct.
Exactly right.
Totally right. You got 3 broads in the bed now.
Yeah.
You're gonna get up and run. You're gonna at dark and run the Rocky steps now. No, I think
Oh,
Rocky
man.
in the arc of the movies had an issue with training Harry because he had too much dough. That's why he had to leave and go to Russia.
Oh, is that right? I
That's
forget all
why he
that.
trained over there in Siberia, carrying the railroad tie in 4 feet of snow.
Oh, jeez. And what was the other thing that came out? I don't even know if it's really true, but it's something about Sirianni and his emotional outbursts on the sidelines, and when his big Dom was suspended, he didn't have him to sort of rein him in, and he's yelling at players, and the players are pissed off.
If like you said, I don't know if it's true.
Yeah,
I have no idea. But if that's true, like, see ya.
Yeah, I mean,
if Big Dom is his therapist,
right,
and he can't survive without Big Dom and his PhD from Broad and Shunk, like, I'm out.
Oh my goodness!
Oh
I
my!
mean,
What, like,
only in this town does this shit happen.
I don't know
You know?
I don't know that's true.
You don't think?
It could happen in other towns. I mean, there's got to be drama like this in other towns with football, doesn't there?
Well, with the sideline security guy getting involved with an opponent and then being suspended, and then it comes out later that he's the only guy that sort of keeps the coach in check from yelling at the players during games. That doesn't happen anywhere else.
I don't know.
I don't even know if there is a big Dom for these other teams. Have you ever seen some big ass security guy, to the right of Bill Belichick?
No, there are some things here that just don't make sense.
I see his greasy-haired son, sitting to his right, who's now at the University of Washington coaching the defense.
Look, here's the thing is you might be right. Like, there needs to be a real sports episode with Bryant Gumbel with that smug look on his face that I'd like to smack right off when he takes off the glasses. And
oh yeah, that's when he tries to be Scott Pelley.
Yeah.
Take the old taking the off of the glass, like and you're sitting back and putting the earpiece in your mouth.
Yeah,
That's when you're getting serious.
I'd like to wipe that look off his face with a shovel.
Yeah. And Scott Pelley's eyes get a little wet. They get a little teary-eyed. You can see, and they focus in on it closer because this is when it really is getting deep, man.
Yeah.
So this is emotion.
Like, put your fucking seatbelt on your couch, like you may fall over.
Right.
This segment, like, look out. We don't want you to get any kind of head injury.
Who was that? Was it Bernie Goldberg on that show?
Is it Bernie
on the Real Sports?
Yeah.
Is it Bernie Goldberg? Whoever Goldberg. I love that guy.
Yeah, not Goldberg the wrestler.
No. He was actually pretty good though.
He was the gray hair.
Yeah, he was
the
white hair. Yeah. Love that guy.
But he had like a real. He was not a polished guy like delivery of the human language. He was more like a city cat.
Yeah, he was a little grufty, Yeah. But I also liked Andrea Kramer too. She was always very good on that show.
She's got Philly connections, huh?
Yeah, of course.
She'd be a good person to do the story, because if somebody that isn't from Philly were to do the story and brings up anything negative,
right,
they're going to need their own protection detail.
Wow.
I remember when Joe Santoliquito had those reports on Carson Wentz that he was a problem in the locker room. He turned out to be right, by the way.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Somebody threw a brick through the front window of his house in Havertown.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yep.
God.
He was getting death threats because he reported something which, again, turned out to be right.
Right.
But people didn't want to hear it. They're so protective.
I know. And see, that's what I'm saying. They just don't understand the real role of the media.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's, I don't know. It drives me nuts.
People will do this to me all the time. They're like, why aren't you criticizing the blah, blah, blah about the Flyers or something? I'm like, first of all, I draw a check from the team. I work for the team. Do I like everything they do? No. Do I go out there and say you're a fucking idiot for doing it? No.
Right. Yeah. How was the Winter Classic? Are they still calling it that stuff? Oh, Stadium Series now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Winter Classic is the one on New Year's Day.
Oh, okay.
Stadium Series is the expansion of it. I had a blast, Harry. You know me. I'm usually pretty jaded about those things. It's the 5th outdoor game I've done. I did Fenway, which I still think was the best because it was the first for me, and it was Fenway.
Right.
Like that there's a vibe inside Fenway. I thought,
Yeah.
and so that was the best one.
I've
But
seen baseball games in Fenway. It's awesome.
yeah, it's just there's a vibe when you walk in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk the concourse, and it's tiny. So,
Mm-hmm.
And then Citizens Bank Park in 2012, 2016, I think it was at Heinz Field was the worst. That miserable experience. I froze my bag off.
Mm-hmm.
2018, the link was decent, but it rained a little bit.
Yeah.
This was great up there, dude. The place was jammed.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, it's this whole thing kind of played itself through, and the outdoor game, have they done it too many times?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great TV event. I fully agree with that.
No.
But it is a great live event. There were 72,000 plus people at that stadium. And as I sat there on the field during the anthem and looked up as Clarence Clemens' son was playing it on the saxophone, on an alto sax, I looked up, people all the way up to the top of MetLife.
Oh, yeah. It's a big building.
Stadium.
Yeah, it's a big building. Yeah.
And there is absolutely like a vibe you get when you're down on the field or playing surface with that many people.
And it goes all the way around on all the levels. So it makes it like, it seems bigger.
It's an arena without a roof. Huge arena.
Right.
But it did get cold. Now you'd be happy to know I was doing the game in the corner where the fly on like the Flyers goal line, and they defend twice on the bench side. And to my right, like literally a foot from me, was another guy doing the ice level reporting for national radio by the name of Nick Olchuk. Edzo's son.
Oh, yeah?
Was doing, and Edzo was up in the booth doing the game with Pat Foley, and I'm sitting there with Nick the whole game, and with 7 minutes.
It's Nick So.
Not Edzo.
Not Edzo.
Kick the shit out of it, Nick So.
Kick its ass, Nick So. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, that's what you said. And with 7 minutes left in the game, Nick tapped out.
Oh, yeah?
No, we were cold as shit. He tapped out, and he gets up, and 2 packs of unopened hand warmers fall out of his pocket. I'm like, where were those? They're unopened. I could have used those.
Wow.
So I jumped on those like a bird jumping on birdseed that you throw on the ground.
Do they work?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know people that wear those or have those in their pockets when they play golf in the winter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nah.
I got electric ones, too, that my son uses.
Yeah.
And you plug them in, and same thing, but I forgot to bring them. But no, it was a great event. The Flyers didn't play particularly well, but it was it was a lot of fun. So I was up there. I went up Friday for the practice and the family skate. Stayed Friday night, and then did the game on Saturday night. Didn't get back to the hotel at 1:30. By the time I got done the podcast and everything, it was like 4 a.m, and got up around 10 and left on Sunday. But
so you did the pod at the hotel when you got back?
Yeah, I did. We had like a little reception after the game down in this like private lounge area down by the locker rooms, with all the families and the players and management and the coaches and stuff like that. So
now, did you go through the players' entrance at MetLife?
Well, yeah, I came in the loading dock areas where they come in. Yeah, that's where I came in. Yeah. I was not a player, but I came in that entrance.
Did NHL Network have a camera on you guys as you're walking down the ramp, the to get to the lower bowl concourse to get to the room?
Well, they did on the players because they all came in dressed as Rocky and Grays.
Right. So you weren't dressed as Rocky?
No, I did not dress as Rocky.
Oh, jeez.
I thought that was a little.
Come on.
I thought that was a little, cliche.
Yeah,
a little bit. Well, you see, the Devils came in dressed as the Sopranos, wearing like a Christopher Moltisanti Fila sweatsuit.
Oh, yeah?
With like a tank top underneath.
Oh, God.
So it was pretty cliche.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it was fun.
So the Flyers are still rolling towards the playoffs?
Yeah, they went to Chicago on Wednesday, took on the Blackhawks and Connor Bedard. Got our first look at Bedard. Pretty spectacular. The rest of that team stinks out loud. But yeah, no, they're in a good. According to like the analytics sites, they got like a 78% chance of making the playoffs.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Very
they got a
good.
big weekend though, Har. Matinee hockey at Wells Fargo tomorrow against the Rags. The
Okay.
Rangers in town. So you got Breadman and Zibanejad.
Zibanejad.
Yeah, Shesterkin, whole thing. So they got the Rangers tomorrow, and then they go to Pittsburgh, and they got a chance to put the final nail in Pittsburgh's 23-24 coffin.
Now, which game is nationally televised?
Saturday.
Okay.
I think Sunday is not. Yeah, let me look here.
Is it a Sunday night game?
No, actually, they're both nationally televised.
Really?
3:00 on Saturday on ESPN Plus, Hulu.
Well, that's not
Sunday is TNT.
That's not
It's
nationally
stream only game.
Yeah, on Saturday, so that's not nationally televised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's I guess that's considered it because it's on ESPN's platform.
Nah.
So there'll be no local broadcast.
Right.
And then, well, except for radio. And then Sunday's actually on TNT.
Okay.
So maybe I'll get to see Edzo Sunday too.
All right. Now the Sixers.
They still playing, Harry?
Yeah, they are. They've lost 6 of their last 8 games, and they're now 6-15 total without Embiid. And of course, he's still out now. It's like, will he be able to come back before the end of the regular season? It's just a whole mess. But they debut Kyle Lowry last night, who was acquired, I believe, at the deadline. It's one of those bogus moves like the NBA does, where he was traded from Miami to Charlotte, I believe, and immediately opted out and becomes a free agent, and with the intent of coming to Philadelphia. And so they bring him on, and he debuts coming off the bench last night and got a nice ovation apparently from the crowd. This is he apparently never grew up dreaming of playing for the Sixers, I read, but he thought it was a really cool moment when the crowd just gave him this nice ovation, being a Philly guy, Cardinal Doherty guy. His high school no longer exists.
Yeah. That's where Joe Conklin went to Cardinal Doherty.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Up in Olney.
Yeah. Olney, Pennsylvania.
Olney is the way I used to say it, because I lived like real close to there for a little while. But the people from Philly go Olney. They put an extra syllable in there.
Olney.
Yeah.
Well, how many extra syllables does Kern add into Saturday? Sorry. Yeah. That sounds about right, Harry.
Yeah, it's like that. So he comes off the bench, scored 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He filled up the stat sheet in 25 minutes, but then gets an elbow to the dome.
Oh.
And needed 6 stitches to close the wound. He has this big bandage, like this circular bandage right on his forehead.
Wow. So he had like a donut on there. They lost. Donut bandage, Harry?
The donut bandage.
I had the donut bandage with 16 stitches right here on what was my hairline when I caught a clapper right in the fucking forehead in 1989.
So that's what's wrong with you.
Well, that
you got CTE.
Yeah, well, this head was always in the danger zone, Harry. And we weren't wearing, highly protective masks like that one hanging there on my wall.
Right.
Back in my day, I was wearing the old Dominic Hasek helmet and cage.
Oh, okay. I hated those.
Yeah, the old bucket.
I hated the Hasek look.
Yeah, the old Cooper SK 2000 helmet, Harry.
Yeah, and then his butterfly move.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the guy that kind of brought that in?
Well, that was Vogue? Patrick Waugh was the one that. Yeah.
Oh, Waugh was the first guy to do that.
Yeah, the butterfly style was essentially created by a guy named Benoit Allaire, who was the goalie coach of the Montreal Canadiens. And,
not Benoit Balls.
No,
that's the only Benoit that I know.
Yeah, Benoit Allaire was the architect of the butterfly style of goaltending.
Wow,
and taught it to. Patty Waugh, and I don't even know what the hell a guy like Hasek was doing. He was a guy like people loved him, but in the goalie community, we couldn't. The goalie community didn't love him as much as everybody else because they couldn't figure out what the hell he was doing.
There's a goalie community.
You could, absolutely. There's a whole subculture here.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and because nobody in the goalie community could figure out how to emulate him. You know what I mean?
Like, he has such a unique style that you couldn't mimic it.
Like a guy would come in on a breakaway and he would just barrel roll. Like, I don't even know what would go into that. He just fall, go jump sideways and make the save. It was insane. But yeah. So are the Sixers? That's kind of a Flyers move, Har. You get
What,
the right
bringing
guy at the
back the
wrong time. Yeah.
well, yeah. Well, no, I think he can help them. I mean, he's coming off the bench. I mean,
Yeah.
they
Can't hurt.
no,
Good leader.
yeah, I'm fine with it, actually. Um, the other thing is the Phillies have started down in Clearwater, obviously.
Saw that.
And I don't know that they've started really officially playing games yet, but very soon, before the end of February, they play games. And Bryce Harper, through his agent, apparently wants more money.
He didn't get
Okay.
enough when John Middleton went out there and handed him everything he had.
Yeah. Well, Scott Boras is a pig, and he's always been a pig. I hate him.
Or as Rob Ellis would say, a peg.
A peg. Yeah. No. But and that's his agent, and I can't stand him. But he signed through 2031, and he'll be 38 years old then. And he says, I want to play into my 40s. So, well, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to need another contract. And you can't, Boras isn't going to let him wait until he's 38 and basically washed up.
Can you extend a guy at 34 years of age when his contract's not up till he's 38?
I mean, I wouldn't.
Can you? Is it even allowed?
I don't know. I don't know what it's allowed, but I'm sure it is, or Boras wouldn't be pushing for it. But he's owed $196 million. And you need more money. Okay? That's what he's owed. Forget about what he's already made.
He's probably already made more than that.
200
easily.
Oh, yeah. $26 million per year for the next 5 seasons, including this year. And then there's 3 more years at $22 million. 196, according to my math.
And he wants to extend now.
Yeah.
For when he's 38, and we don't even know if the guy's going to be able to walk.
Why do you need more money?
Yeah, why is this
my
even
question?
A story? Like, he shouldn't. It's so out of touch to ask.
It is, and it's just a good way to piss off the fan base that loves your ass.
Yeah, you haven't won yet either. By the way,
no, they haven't.
You had some really fun seasons.
Oh, they've been great.
Love watching them. But
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I love the guy. Don't get me wrong, but I'll tell you, I would, if I'm his agent, or if I'm in his entourage, forget the agent, because the agent wants his share. I'm like, yo, you might want to back off of this.
Yeah, like
you might
getting bad counsel.
Go out and win a World Series, and then maybe. But even so, why do you need more money?
Yeah, like you're right. There's no upside to this becoming public.
No. Why would you want to play into your 40s? Like, to me, with all that money, and I'm retiring when I'm 38 years old, I can go enjoy my life. Yeah. Like, just because Tom Brady went till he was 45 and was married to a supermodel doesn't mean like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. To me, I'd be looking for a way to get out at 36 instead of going to 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got all the dough. I don't need the dough. And I get these guys are competitors, the whole thing. But
and he is.
Yeah, and he's a gamer. I get all that, but geez, come on, enough.
I know.
Like, I don't need to be hearing in 2024 that your contract that ends in 2031 needs to be extended now because you want to keep playing beyond it.
Right.
I mean, it's 2024. You got 6 years left. It's insane to me.
So there's that. And then it just got me, like, all we talk about in sports anymore is money. Like, it's infested college sports now for the last year or two, where it's all about conference realignment, the college football playoff, NIL, transfer portal, all this bullshit, where you can't, it's like the coach has to re-recruit his basketball team and his football team at the end of every season just to keep your guys.
Yeah.
And then it's about, well, do we have the NIL funds because Boston College wants to pay our running back, $1 million a year. Well, we can't compete with that. He's gone.
Yeah, out of there. Yep.
Yeah. It's ruined college sports to me.
It's worked. It worked for years without it. And now you add this money into it. If you want to pay the athletes, okay.
And I'm okay with that.
Everybody gets the same.
I'm okay with them getting something.
Yep.
There's this talk about making them employees of the university with this union situation that happened up at Dartmouth, but I think that could be a possible way to sort of settle this thing where, it would eliminate or severely cut back on the ability of these guys to just leave here every year they're going somewhere else.
Yeah, they're free agent year
Yeah.
after year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick Saban is now, of course, he's retired and working for ESPN, but I read this week that he's sort of offered himself as a sort of a sound voice of reason for the sport and wants to be involved in making this right.
Oh, so Nick Saban's going to fix it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
kicking the living shit at everybody for years.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
No, I mean, look, they've been paying people for decades at Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm sure he'll be a real sound voice on it.
Okay.
If anybody knows anything about that, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, good on him for putting himself out there I'm sure at no fee.
Well, Yeah. But it's all over college sports. It's infested golf, which although I've been talking about with my golf podcast, it seems every week we talk about money. Like, what's this player getting offered from, to leave the tour? Now there's a report out there that Rory McIlroy's former agent, Chubby Chandler, is intimating that, Rory may leave the tour because he could be offered upwards almost $1 billion.
Oh my God. Not Chubby Checker.
No, not Chubby Checker. A Philly guy, by the way. Chubby Checker.
Yeah.
No, $985 million. Oh my is the God. Number. Yeah.
See, and that's
why does he need that?
Yeah. Here's the problem, Harry. The fact that, like, on Swing It and Ding It, you guys have to talk about that and not talk about the game.
Right.
It's all become too distracting.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch these games on TV now, there's so much going on with the goddamn ticker that I can't watch.
Oh yeah.
All I do is watch the 17 things that are on the ticker at the bottom.
The scroll.
And none of the game. Yeah.
And here's the problem I have with the scroll. Well, I don't have a problem with the scroll, but I have a problem with Comcast Xfinity. Is they put this, like, let's say you change channels or you want to pause it and rewind it and start it again. The bottom of the screen gets darkened, where you can't even see what's on. Like, what are they doing? What all the stuff on sports, the scoreboards and all that stuff usually run at the bottom.
Yep.
And they cover it up.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. That's an outrage.
It is.
I want to get to one last thing here before we get out of here, because God forbid if we're to go much longer. But you sent me this tweet. I'll put it up here on the screen. And I think it kind of lends to what we've talked about the entire episode so far. So this tweet, I don't know how to say this guy's name. Is it Fidecio? I don't know if people can see it there.
Fit Dad CEO, I think is what it is.
Oh, okay.
He's a fit dad and a CEO.
Okay. He actually follows me on Twitter. Does he follow you, Harry?
He's following you? No, I don't think he follows me.
Because when I clicked it, it said that he follows me. So his tweet says this. It says, can we as a city, meaning the city of Philadelphia, boycott at 975 The Fanatic and at Sports Radio WIP? Never seen a group so hard up to get star athletes to leave a team. Hashtag boycott Philly radio. Your thoughts, Harry?
This is what I'm talking about. Like, like there's tweets underneath here, like replies and stuff that refer to some of the names of the hosts, and this one host can't curl a toothpick. So the implication is like, well, he's not a big, strong athlete, so therefore he shouldn't be able to talk about athletes.
Yeah.
Like, I love that mentality too. Right.
Did you ever play the game?
Right. But then they yell at, the former the former athletes that are on. Oh, this is a former Eagle. He can't, like, you can never please any of these people. So why bother trying to please one of them?
Yeah. One guy responded and said, "What did the Fanatic do?" I think people are boycotting them already.
Oh, jeez.
Based on the ratings.
I knew you were trying to work that in.
That boycott started when you and I left, Harry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, they think that the guys on WIP or the Fanatic are trying to get, players to leave the team, or they're trying to get the team to lose. Trust me, I did radio here when the teams were good and when they were really bad.
Yeah.
It was way more fun covering that Eagles team that won a Super Bowl than it was through Andy Reid's final year.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell you that as a fact. Or when Chip Kelly came here and it blew up 2.5, 3 years later, whatever that last season was for him when he got fired before the end of the year.
Yep.
That is not as much fun as it was covering that team that won. So when you sit here and say that, the host, I'm not a host anymore, but that you want the team to lose, I throw up a flag. The Phillies teams were so much fun.
Yeah. There's so much more fun when things are going well. And I agree with you. But sports radio hit some kind of fork in the road. I don't know when the fork happened, but a lot of it has become now, which is what you and I despise and refuse to do, is this hot take radio.
Right.
Disingenuous, just being outlandish and
no nuance.
Yeah, no nuance.
No
just
nuance.
saying things for response. Clickbait radio. And a lot of it became that. And a lot of it became so hyper-focused on Eagles that they just are so desperate to manufacture some kind of debate conversation. Yeah. And controversy that's the way it comes off to people sometimes. And so I understand what he's saying. Sometimes it is like, oh, you guys are just trying to stir shit up when there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of that is because they've been conditioned now to just talk about the Eagles in May when literally nothing is happening.
Right.
So they are trying to stir up.
You've already talked the draft out, and here it is, like the third week of May, and you got that, couple of weeks until training camp starts. So now what do we do? People are, people are just getting into the baseball season.
Yep.
Maybe the Sixers have already been eliminated from the second round of the playoffs.
Flyers as well.
The Flyers.
Yeah, and the conversation becomes, Carson Wentz being a hunter, is that a no-go for you? 6-1-0, like, it's like, are you serious?
Right.
And because of the inability to talk about other sports in an educated way, because football, you can appeal to the knuckle draggers and to the people that the 700 level mentality, then that's what you get.
And that's when you were begging for like a sconce gate, which happened I think it was the late May. I think that was
Carrie Williams didn't show up for OTAs, an optional,
right?
And because he went shopping for sconces,
right?
So it was like, oh, we could talk. Does he really care? 6-1-0.
And now there's something going on with, I believe it's Rendon out in Los Angeles with the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
Where it came out where he admitted that baseball is not, nearly his top priority. Like he's got family and whatever else, other things, just a job and all this stuff. It's like, dude, why would you throw that to the masses like that? Seriously, just keep that under your hat. You haven't played nearly a complete season like since you got there. He's always hurt and he's getting paid a ton of money.
Yeah.
Like, just shut up.
It's really not my priority. I'm getting paid $30 million a year.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah. Meanwhile, people would kill the hat. Yeah, you have to consider the how what you say, your opinion on it's going to be received.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like you said, there's a lot of nuance gone.
In
today's society. So, look, I know people get pissed off at those stations. I just don't listen. I just don't listen to it anymore. I'm an on-demand consumer now.
Well, here's Colin. What's the fix to sports talk radio? Even the good shows are growing old. Long-form barstool is it. Now, I don't know what long-form barstool is.
I think what he's saying is like the conversations you would have at the bar, just the long-form conversations without the hot take.
I think he's referring to Barstool Network. No?
I'm not. It could be. I don't know.
So maybe we should bring him on next week and talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. We're getting Ray Koob on too. Either next week or the week after, because it's still going to be slow. I mean, the Eagles will be in free agency, but that's like 2 or 3 days in early March, and then it's over.
Yeah, yeah. Colin says laid back real talk, kind of like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like one of the things people used to say about the show that you and I did together was like two guys sitting at the bar,
Mm,
and it wasn't like, hey, I'll take this side, you take that side, like
right.
all these shows now, like it's got to be combative.
Well, that's because everybody always could envision me sitting at a bar.
Yes, I didn't there was oftentimes I didn't recognize you, Harry, without a bar attached to your chest.
I didn't drink last night, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations!
exactly.
Alert the press.
Can I get through tonight?
No.
I don't know. It's Friday.
Did you see they landed on the moon? They landed that Odysseus on the moon last night.
What?
There was this unmanned unit that landed on the moon last night, on the south pole of the moon, which is a
Okay.
big deal. It's not the Sea of Tranquility, which is some flat areas like where the Apollo missions would go. But this
Okay.
is the first time, Harry, since 1972. I think it was October of December of 1972 that the U.S. has landed something on the moon.
Mm.
Like, why the 50-year plus gap? I
don't know. I mean, you know way more about this than I do.
Yeah, I saw it last night. That they
kind of
landed
blowing me away with all this moon knowledge.
Yeah, and just because I got caught up in the coverage last night a little bit. But yeah, they landed.
Caught up with.
Remember in Dumb and Dumber when he sees an old newspaper and he comes down and goes, "We landed on the moon." He had no idea.
Oh God!
So yeah, we've now landed. Odie is on the moon. So congratulations to
Great
Odie. NASA and the company they're working with to get that done. Anything else you want to get to, Har? F1 season's coming up.
Yeah, what's up with F1? Where are you at this week? Bahrain.
Well, they're wrapping up testing today.
Yeah.
3 days of testing, and coming up next week will be the first Grand Prix at the Bahrain International Circuit, and we'll be underway for 24 races and another F1 season that Max Verstappen will win. I predict 21 of the 24 races.
Should be thrilling.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm ready.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm ready to have it back.
I got to admit, like if Tiger Woods came back, and let's say he played in every event and won 90% of the events, I'd get bored. No, I would. Bored. Yeah.
Wow.
I would. I don't know how you guys love that sport when the same guy wins every fucking week.
Yeah, it's fascinating. There's still storyline.
Yeah, there are.
And and every track, it's like golf, where every track's different.
Yeah.
You got to set the car up different. A high downforce track, a low downforce track, street circuit versus, a traditional. Yeah, there's a lot of elements here. I got to consider all this when I'm going into my sim racing schedule for the week as well, Harry.
Okay.
There's a lot that the engineers are working on behind the scenes that you don't see.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm working on setup.
Yeah.
Race pace, tire deg.
Did you watch the Indy or the Daytona 500?
I watched a little bit of it. I saw the big one at the end, a huge crash.
Yeah, it always ends in a wreck.
Yeah, that's because they put these restrictor plates on the cars and they run so close together. It's going to happen. You can't do that.
Well, they only do that at the super speedways.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like there, Talladega.
Yeah.
So they all run nose to tail, and it's all just about drafting.
Right.
What the point is? What is the point of a race if you put a restrictor plate so they all run the same speed? It's no longer a race. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. But wasn't the restrictor plates put in for safety?
Yeah. Because Bill Elliott did a 212 mile an hour lap at Talladega, and they deemed it was too dangerous.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville.
Exactly right, Harry.
In the biz.
In the McDonald's Ford.
Yeah. Was he number 5? What number was he?
No, Labonte was Bobby one of the Labontes, Bobby Labonte, I think it was number 5.
Oh, okay.
But maybe Ward Burton.
Ward Burton. How about
Ward
that?
Burton, yeah, brother Jeff Burton. Like total redneck. I hear that dude. Let me tell you about Ward Burton. Total redneck. But no, that was Bobby Labonte that was in the number 5. I think it was a cereal car, like the Special K or something.
Cornflakes or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always liked was it Cale Yarborough in the Hooters car?
Exactly.
Wasn't he a Hooters guy?
That's a great NASCAR. Cale
Cale
Yarborough.
Yarborough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had their bikini contest apparently at the King of Prussia location last night.
Oh, wow.
I was getting some video.
We should have done a live show from that.
Yeah.
All
Probably
right.
could work that out.
Yeah.
But the official sponsor of Not For Long Media and the Odd G's podcast.
Terry Labonte. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's the original Fudge Kitchen, a staple of the Jersey Shore. 6 locations: Cape May, Wildwood, Stone Harbor, and Ocean City. They make all of their fudge and sweet treats right in the store, so it's guaranteed to be delicious and fresh. Stop by and let them know that N4L sent you. But if you're not able to visit in person, not a problem. They ship it to you. All across the country, they can ship it to you. Be sure to check out their website, fudgekitchens.com.
Yeah, T from the 203. Terry Labonte was the Kellogg's number 5.
Oh, Kellogg's. Okay.
Yeah, it was the yellow and red.
There you go.
He had some great name. Ricky Rudd. Remember he drove the
Ricky
Tide
Rudd.
car?
Oh, yeah. I love that guy.
The Tide car Chevy. That thing was hideous looking. Yeah, Dale Jarrett.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Dale Jarrett, he ran for Gibbs, I think, at one point.
Was that the Joe Gibbs 88 that he was
when he won the Daytona 500?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe it was on Valentine's Day, the day I got married in Vegas.
Wow.
I'm thinking this is.
Do you have a few shekels on Dale Jarrett that day, Harry?
I did, and I also had money on UConn that day. I'll never forget. I think they played Georgetown, and I think it was like February 14th, 1993.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian,
Look that up.
Michael Waltrip.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer Darrell Waltrip to Michael Waltrip. I remember I was at
giggity.
Buggity.
Oh, it's Buggity.
Yeah. So I'm at Talladega, Harry. This is probably 1995. And it was the Die Hard 500. Right? And we're sitting on the backstretch there. And the whole field, nose to tail, a NASCAR field comes by. Right. 43 cars, right?
Right.
And then there's this car trailing the whole pack. And it's Darrell Waltrip. Everybody's on 8 cylinders. He's on like 3, right?
Really?
And he'd come by, and this enormous redneck behind me. Every lap that Darrell went by, he said the same thing. It's a shame that happened to that there DW. Every fucking lap. 58 laps. And this guy coming back, the whole field.
Wow.
Darrell. Shame about that there DW.
Yeah.
That's a shame about what happened to that there DW.
February 14th, 1993, Dale Jarrett won his first Daytona 500. He ended up winning 3 of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went to Daytona. I was scheduled to go there for the first ever night race at Daytona International Speedway when they put the lights in. I'm going to say this is around 99.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Firecracker 400 that they were not the 500. So it's 4th of July weekend, and we were supposed to go, and it got postponed because of wildfires in Florida.
Oh, wow.
So they moved it to October, and we went back in October and went down. I drove all the way. I went down to Talladega one year in an RV with my brother and a bunch of other people. We left from State College and drove like the 16 hours to Talladega, Alabama, Harry.
It sounds like an Eric Church song.
And the race got canceled.
Oh, jeez.
I drove 16 hours in an RV, and we didn't even see a race.
That's literally the lyric of a great Eric Church song called Talladega.
16 hours, Talladega. Got there, the race got canceled.
They took Daddy's old Winnebago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took the Winnebago down too. I couldn't believe I drove that far to see nothing. A bunch of rednecks plowing their cars through a mud bog.
Wow.
These people thought that was like a ring of gold. Oh, look at their mud bog. Beauties. All right, that's episode 87 of the Odd G's podcast.
Might be our last.
Yeah. Well, we've said that 86 other times, Harry.
I know.
All right, everybody, we'll talk to you next week on a brand new episode of the Odd G's podcast.